Chevron, nobody wants to know about this. Chevron is a moral company in the eyes of Warren and Charlie. It's a moral company. And the fact that the ESG social justice warriors don't like oil is not relevant to a rational person. Because if you get in your automobile and you would be distressed at the idea that you can't put gas in it because there isn't any, and you can't go down the road, and you can't go on an adventure with your family, and you can't drive your RV, and you can't take your boat out because there's no fuel. Their point being that Chevron is a necessary part of our society, and they shouldn't be treated like a pariah. And I totally agree with him. I think
that was
that's
definitely
absurd.
their point. Yeah, that was definitely their point.
Completely absurd to treat these guys badly and treat them like they're not part of society, and you should never invest like there's some sort of apartheid, racist company. And it's just, I'm baffled by that. I love it that these guys stand up for this kind of stuff and say this is crap. And then
I think like they can, it doesn't really matter what we think. They get to make their decisions with the company that they run. And then we can either join in on that and give them our money to hold as owners, as co-owners, or we can take our money away from them if we disagree about this Chevron thing or about any of the other parts of companies that
look. And I hear you when it comes to it as an investor. Yeah, you're right. We can just choose, but I think it matters a lot what they think because they have a huge public platform, and I love it that these guys are taking a stand against this sort of knee-jerk bullcrap ESG stuff that's going on out there. Basically, Buffett said, we have two companies that produce hydrocarbons. We have the energy side and we have the railroad side. And both of those companies have exceeded their requirements under the Paris Accords to reduce carbon production, so much so that we have met our carbon production goal as set up by the Paris Accords, I think in 2013. Berkshire has met that goal with these two companies already, and the goal's not due until 2025.
Yeah.
And they will meet the goal in 2030 as well.
Yeah.
And so Buffett is saying, so why in the world would I saddle a fabulous CEO who's working for the passion of it, not for the money, down in a company in Texas with some stupid, he didn't say stupid, but I'm saying stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely didn't say it the way you're saying it. So you have a lot of...
Hold on a company that does not produce carbon. Why would I have to force this person to do that? And he says, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to force him to do it. He says, I get calls from these financial managers all the time to come and spend time in my office to talk to me about this, and I will not take their call, and I'm not going to take their call because they're a waste of my time. They're not a real shareholder. They come, they go, right? I want our shareholders to make these determinations on ESG, and our shareholders, the ones who actually own the stock as a human being, are 97% in favor of what we do and 97% against this ESG proposal. So there you go. And I think it definitely matters what these guys have to say because somebody's got to stand up against this stuff. This level of political correctness gets out of control. So that's my point. You want to speak on this or shall we move on?
Am I allowed to talk now? Yeah?
Of course.
I feel very uncomfortable characterizing him and what he said the way you just put it because you have so much vitriol around it, and that is not the way that Buffett talked about it at all. And I think it's important to me to say that on here because
I think it's important.
Buffett would want to
I'm sorry, I'm going to break in right here. I'm going to break in right here because you're so wrong. I'm going to quote you. Quote, they want us to fill out reports, just a bunch of reports. It's asinine.
You're quoting me?
I'm quoting Buffett.
Oh, yeah.
It's asinine.
Yes.
How am I mischaracterizing him if he's saying these reports are asinine? How is that mischaracterizing him?
That part he is very anti the reports. But I don't think that he thinks that these people who are trying to create ESG ETFs or trying to follow ESG rules in their investing are complete idiots who are trying to create problems in companies. What they're trying to get at is companies doing better, companies having diversity, companies making conscious environmental choices. They're trying to get at companies doing better.
And they're doing it the wrong way.
They're doing it in a way that works over many companies in a very standardized
according
way.
to you.
And no, it's a standardized way. It's a way that
what makes you think
companies
this works? What makes you think this is something that's actually useful for a bunch of companies to fill out a bunch of BS reports? Why?
I don't think that they're BS reports.
These are what do they call those in office
Like
space?
TPS
the TPS reports. That's exactly what these are for most companies.
Look, I don't use them. I don't look at them. I also don't think that it's a bad
TPS
thing
report.
that we have a system
way.
here for companies to standardize their reporting on this stuff.
Buffett's asking these people to do a little work.
It's gone from nobody talking about it 10 years ago, except basically you and me.
That's right.
And now it is mainstream. And if a company isn't following it, they have to explain why, which is what he did on Saturday. I think that is a really good overall change. Now, at the same time, and I've said this like many times about Berkshire, I think it's fantastic that they don't fill out those reports. It's the right decision for Berkshire. Berkshire doesn't want the kind of shareholders who are in and out in these ESG ETFs. They don't want the kind of money managers that are looking only for check the box ESG companies. So it's the right decision for Berkshire. And I think that the companies that do fill out the ESG reports because they do want to be in those ETFs and in those funds and having people look at them in a certain way, that's the right decision for those companies. And I'm not going to say that it's automatically asinine or ridiculous. And I don't think Buffett said that in any way on Saturday.
Quote,
he said that it's not asinine. Right. No, for Berkshire.
He didn't say for Berkshire.
He says
it's
Berkshire.
Asinine.
No. I don't think that he thinks it's stupid for other companies.
Okay.
I think overall, just from like reading about him, my general opinion is that he would think that this is overall a good shift for companies to be having to disclose stuff.
Man, now here I'm quoting Buffett, and he seems completely to say the opposite of what you just said. And he has never said anything like what you've just said, which is in favor of TPS reports for ESG. So I think you're just putting yourself on this, and you're doing the very thing you're accusing me of doing. So
I'm just putting myself on this?
Yeah, this is just your view through your glasses.
Through
if
my
you were
glasses.
Running Berkshire, this is how you
just
feel.
Just as everything
no
I say
evidence
on this
whatsoever
podcast
that Buffett is doing the same thing.
Through my glasses.
You didn't listen to what I said.
And same for you.
No, I'm quoting Buffett. I got that going for me. You quote Buffett to me about how he thinks these ESG reports are fine, and I'll be listening a lot more carefully.
Actually, that'd be something to look up. I'll try to look that up. I'm curious if anybody's asked him what he thinks about it for other companies.
Go look it up.
Because they ask him every year about Berkshire, and he answers the same every year.
He has 100 companies, and 90, or let's say roughly, 100 companies, and 98 of them he thinks the report's stupid for. So what do we think?
Berkshire companies.
For 100 companies across a major bunch of industries.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I give up. All right, moving on.
I'd be curious.
Modern monetary theory.
Let me just say, we know that Apple fills them out. So does he think that that's stupid? I don't know.
Modern monetary theory.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine he thinks it's stupid. Okay, modern monetary theory. And this is the next thing he goes to. Modern monetary theory, which says brilliantly that if you're the reserve currency of the world, you can print as much as you want without any downside. And the basic justification of that is if you're diluting your currency, everybody has to dilute it with you, or they can't sell you anything. So if you're a major buyer of stuff from around the world and you're the reserve currency, you get special dispensation, which turns out so far to be true, which is why modern monetary theory is gaining some credence. And of course, Buffett is basically going, those economists who believe in this are more confident than they really ought to be. he says this extreme conduct that they're doing is, it's amazing, but it's still working. But it will end in disaster. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.